So this is gonna be part 3 to what if Deku had Venom. So let's get into it. Where I last left off, it was the end of the heroes versus villains. So I'm gonna do the USJ. So they're on the bus. They're talking about their quirks, and Sue, she asked Deku what his quirk is, and Deku, he just like nervously like responds like, "Oh, it's just I can like it's a transformation quirk, and like it gives me super strength and super speed." And yeah. And Sue would ask like, but it's like, or not Sue, Uraraka would ask, but it sounds like it's like its own being, like an own entity, like it's his own being, I guess. Deku would say, yeah, my quirk has its own personality. And then Tokiyami would say like, so your quirk is like mine. And Deku would say, huh? Tokiyami would say, my quirk is Dark Shadow. It's its own being, and it has its own personality. And Deku would say, yeah, I guess. So they arrive. 13's there. She explains the USJ and how it works. Then the villains come. And then Aizawa would say, "Get back! This is not a test. These are real villains." And then he jumps down. Then Kurogiri teleports them all around the USJ. Deku goes in, like lands in the water. Then like the shark villain like tries to like bite him, but Sue gets in the way, like kicks the villain, and grabs Deku with her tongue and puts him on the boat. And Sue would say like this is bad, like there's villains around us. And Deku would say, yeah, this is really bad. Mineta's freaking out. And then Deku would say, stop freaking out, Mineta. And Mineta would say like, how can you guys, like, how can I not be freaking out? Like, there's villains here, like, we're all gonna die. Deku would say, calm down. Then Deku would say Venom, and Venom would take control and say, yeah, I'm here. Then Deku would say, get us out of here. And Venom would say, okay. So Venom would say, grab on and Sue would grab onto Venom, and Venom would grab on to grab Mineta and jump away. And as they land, Venom sees the Nomu beating up Aizawa, and Deku lets go of Mineta and puts Sue on the ground and starts charging at the Nomu. And yeah, Venom punches the Nomu, but it doesn't do anything because it has shock absorption. Then the Nomu punches Venom, which sends Venom flying. But Venom like regenerates, I guess. And Deku would say like, what is this? It's not even human. And Venom would say, yeah, I know. That means we can kill it. And Deku would say, yeah, I guess. But there's something off about him. Venom would say, I know. Like, let's keep attacking it and see if he can figure it out. Deku would say, okay. So Venom charges at it. And Venom, he grew in size. Like now he's like 7'4". So he grew to like equally match, like he's like as like taller than All Might, but just still shorter than a Nomu. But it's the sizes are still like evenly. So after a while, Shigaraki would just say like, "Oh, you can't defeat it. It was made to kill All Might. It has shock absorption." And Deku would say, "That's it. Like, thank you for that." And then Deku would say, like, "Go ahead." Like Venom would say, "Can I?" And then Deku says, "Go ahead." So Venom, he jumps on the Nomu's back and bites the Nomu's brain off. Venom bites the brain and like it rips it out of the head, and then Venom starts eating it, and then the Nomu dies. Like it falls over. Shigaraki would say like, "No, you cheated," and Venom would say like, "No, you told us what the quirk is, so it's not cheating." And Shigaraki would get mad and tell Kirigiri to teleport him out of there. And I must say, the All Might and the rest of the heroes come later. So Deku is just like going around the USJ helping the students out. And he gets to Momo and Jiro and Kaminari where they are. And the villain that has Kaminari, Venom, he runs and then just punches him into like the rocks, I guess, knocking him out. Venom would say, "Are you alright?" And then Momo would say like, "Yeah, we're okay." And then Venom would hold up Kaminari and say, "What's wrong with him?" And then Jiro would say he used too much of his quirk, now he's like that. And Venom would like say, "Okay." And then Venom would say, "Get out of here. I'll take care of the rest of the villains and take him too." They would say, "Okay." So they would leave. Then Venom would start beating up the other villains. And yeah. So that's the end of that. The heroes still come in, they arrest the villains and all of that. So then the 2 weeks are coming, like it's the 2 weeks of break, I guess. And who should I put in? So I'm gonna say, so Deku is walking and he's talking with Venom, but in his mind, so nobody can hear him. So they're talking, and it's late because Deku likes to like take like long walks at night and just talk with Venom about stuff. And he's walking like on a path up by a park, and Deku would see a meteor coming down and landing into the forest. Venom would say, like, "What was that?" And Deku would say, "I don't know, let's check it out." So Deku starts running over there. He sees the crash site, and he would see another container. It's like the same one where Venom was in. And I must say that the Life Corporation from, I'm sorry if you can hear that, that's just the garbage truck. I know it's pretty loud. I'm sorry if you can hear it. I'm like So yeah. So the Life Corporation is in this, and this is another symbiote. It's gray. I'm sorry, it's so loud. I'm gonna just wait a little bit so you can't hear it anymore. It's still here, but I'm gonna continue because it got quieter. So the Life Corporation is in this, like it's in Japan, and this one they got the Life Corporation got the symbiote from space, like they found it on the moon or whatever, and they were retrieving it, but the someone on the spaceship that it had a malfunction and it exploded in space, not in space, like really high up on the earth, almost, I want to say it just exploded, and the container that had the symbiote. Shut up. I'm sorry about that. So, as I was saying, the spaceship exploded, and the container that has the symbiote in it crashed down, and Deku just so happened to saw it. So yeah. So Deku says this looks like the container that I found you in. Venom would say yeah. You should probably take it home before anyone else sees this. Deku would say okay. So Deku picks it up and he takes it home. And Deku, he opens the container, and the symbiote jumps at him and bonds with Deku. So Deku is gonna have two symbiotes, and yeah, he's gonna have two symbiotes, and so yeah. So Deku, he tries to take it off, but it's too late. The symbiote's already bonded with him, and Deku says, "Oh, great, I'm too tired. I'll figure this out I'll figure this out tomorrow." So Deku, he goes to sleep, but then he's in his mindscape. Then he sees Venom talking with this other symbiote, and Deku would say, "Oh, hey Venom, who's this?" And Venom would say, "Oh, this is the other symbiote that we found her in the woods." And Deku would say, "Oh, what's your name?" The symbiote would say, "I don't have one. All I know is that I'm not from here." And Deku would say, "I know you're not from here. Venom's not from here too." And so he would say, I was captured, humans captured me and took me on to Earth, but it crashed. So yeah. And Deku, he would be thinking what should I name you? And Deku would say, he would ask the symbiote, what would you want to be called? What would your name, what name would you want to have? The symbiote would say something vicious or something like that. Vicious? Deku would say vicious? And Deku would say Riot. What about Riot? And the symbiote would say, I like it. You can call me that. I know Riot is not really vicious, but I wanted to give Deku Riot in this, so Deku is gonna have Venom and Riot. So yeah, then this is happening in the first week. So the next week and a half, Deku is training with Riot, and Deku, he's a lot stronger because he has 2 symbiotes, but that means like his weakness got stronger too. Like even though he's worked on his fire immunity and like sort of his sound, or I think he's immune, but since he got the new got Riot, his weaknesses are back. Like not like entirely, just like a third of his weakness. So he's been working on that. So yeah. So the 2 weeks are up. It's time to go. Deku is coming back to school. Deku is talking with Venom and Riot in his head. And Deku, he would also learn like how to make weapons. Like I know like Venom can already do that, but Deku just learns how to do it like more efficiently, like quicker and stuff. And yeah, so Deku goes back to school. Then Aizawa would say like it's time for the sports festival. Put on your gym uniforms. And yeah. Ow! I just cracked my arm. So they go to the sports festival stadium, and then Midnight would say like the first challenge will begin. It's the race. So yeah, Deku would get like everyone's getting ready. Deku's like talking with would be talking with Riot and Venom, and Deku would say like, I don't have to transform. You can just give me like this just super speed, and now since I have Riot, or we have Riot, the super speed would be a lot faster. Like Venom would say okay, and Riot would say yeah, I'm pretty fast too. So Midnight would say go. Deku just blitzes off. Like Todoroki's ice doesn't even like touch him. He's just like gone. So he's running. He gets to the robots. He just punches them, like the smaller robots. Then he sees the 0-pointers. Deku, he jumps, and he makes his fist into like the symbiote fist, I guess, and punches it, like sending it like not flying, just back, like landing on its back, and continues running. He gets to like the canyon thing. He just jumps over that. Simple. Then he gets to the minefield. Easily just runs it. Doesn't like the explosions don't even touch him. And Deku wins the race. And then on to the Cavalry Battle. I must say that no one wants to be on his team. And I was like, yeah, nobody wants to be on his team. So Deku asks Midnight if he can be on his own, since nobody wants to be on his team. Midnight would say, "Oh, I'll let it. That's okay." So Deku would be on his own, and Venom would say like everyone will be after you. Deku would say, "I know, but I have you two, and you guys can help me out." So Midnight would say go. Everyone just rushes Deku. Deku just lets like make spikes coming out of its back and arms, and starts like not cutting, but like starts like slashing at people, so like they wouldn't go near him. And like Todoroki would start using his ice, and like Deku would just cut through it. Deku would punch the ground, making like a crack in the ground, and like a shockwave. Bakugo would be coming towards him. Deku would just dodge the explosions, and yeah, he does this for the entire the entire Cavalry Battle. Then Deku wins. So on to the battle, the fight. So Deku versus Shinso. I'm gonna say that Shinso's brainwashing, it does affect Deku, but it doesn't affect Riot and Venom. So they're just telling Deku to snap out of it, and like they're like hitting like in his mind, and they're in his mindscape, so they're just like hitting his head, so Deku can snap out of it, and Deku does like, but with a really bad headache because they've been hitting his head, and then Deku, he would say, "Ow, that hurt." And Venom would say like, "I know you were mind controlled, like so we had to break you out of it." Deku would say thanks. They would say you're welcome. And then Deku, he would turn around and look at Shinso. And yeah, like Deku would just start running. And he would punch Shinso, knocking him out and out of the ring. So yeah, Deku wins. Now Todoroki versus Deku. Todoroki, he would still use his eyesight, but he would just think that Deku's not, well, never mind. Like, just forget I said that. Like, he's just gonna be as cold as he was in canon, not using his fire. So Deku, when he gets onto the ring, he transforms into Riot, like Venom, not Riot would take over because Deku would let him. And Riot is a bit bigger, like a little bigger than Venom. He's more muscular. So yeah, and everyone's like seeing like a new, like they're thinking like, oh, he made a, like, that's a new form, like I've never seen that before. So Todoroki would say, so you got a new form, right? Riot would say like, no, he found me. And then he would just start charging at Todoroki. Todoroki would just start using ice attacks. Riot would start breaking them. And Deku, he would start saying like, you should Deku like start telling Riot to tell Todoroki to use his fire because he's not using his full power. Riot would say like, but we're still weak to fire. Deku would say, I know, but we're not strong, we're not weak enough, so we won't, so you won't like die. And Riot would say, okay, so he would start like telling Todoroki to use his fire and like saying like it's your power and like not your dad's, like you can use it however you want to. And Todoroki would start using it, and Riot would say you're crazy at Deku, and Deku would say I know, but we had to make him use it. And yeah, then Todoroki would get into like that big stance where he's using like his fire and ice. Then Deku would let Venom let Venom like start taking over too. So both of them. So it's like a combination. Sorry if you can hear that. So Deku would start letting Venom like take over too. So it's like a combination of both symbiotes, like black and gray. And yeah, so Todoroki would launch his ice attack. Deku, both of the symbiotes would start running and break the entire ice, the ice attack, and make a shockwave, so the ice would go like return back to Todoroki, but Todoroki would just melt him with his big, like when he was charging up his fire attack. And Deku, like both of the symbiotes would start like making their fist bigger, and yeah, like, and like when Todoroki let out his fire attack, um both of the symbiotes punched the air, making a huge air pressure, like a big gust of wind, so both attacks would collide, making like the same size of an explosion, like in canon. And Deku, he is still in the ring, just barely. He's still in the ring, just barely. And Deku, he gets up because the symbiotes returned back into his body. Deku gets up. He's like breathing heavily. And Todoroki, half of his, like, the left side of his shirt is burned off. So, yeah, like in canon. So, like, Deku, he sees Todoroki, and Todoroki sees Deku. And they're just breathing heavily. Then Todoroki, like, smiles and says thank you, and then he passes out. And then Midnight would say, Todoroki's out. The winner is Izuku Midoriya. So yeah, I'm gonna make the next one quick. So yeah, so Bakugo versus Deku. Deku, he so when it starts, Bakugo just charges at Deku. Deku transforms into like the symbiote combination of Venom and Riot. And when Bakugo tries to do an explosion, Deku, he runs around to Bakugo and does like what Hulk did to Loki in the Avengers movie, like grabs him by the leg and starts slamming him onto the ground multiple times, then throwing him out of the ring. And yeah, Deku wins the sports festival. So I hope you guys liked it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.